Based on Mitch Cullen's disturbing novel, Tideland tells the story of 10-year-old Jeliza Rose, who after her mother dies is taken to a remote prairie farmhouse by her drug-addicted father. The film delves into the complex fantasy world she creates in order to deal with the tragedies in her life. Gilliam describes it as Alice in Wonderland meets Psycho. The script is unflinching in its depiction of Jeliza's journey, which includes a flirtatious relationship with a mentally deficient 20-year-old man. And while this is another step towards the kind of character-driven filmmaking that he began with Fisher King and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, it is his riskiest artistic effort to date.
I think you're nice.
Jeliza Rose has a very tough life. She uses her imagination a lot to try to fix it. And she has doll heads that she puts on her fingers and pretends that they're her friends, and she makes them talk and everything.
For all their excess, Gilliam's films are deeply personal.
It's always been her point of view. For me, the girls, I always tend to be the main character in the film. I mean, I identify with that character, so I see the world through his or her eyes, and it's got to be through her eyes.
Get on with it, you little bitch.
We don't really deal with her like a child. It's just pro-actress. I mean, she's quite extraordinary. I mean, she's doing stuff in this scene that I certainly didn't ask her to do.
Dad. Dear, you're already dead. A ghost. A spook. Promise me something, Jeliza Rose. If I ever end up looking like Glitter Girl, promise you'll just kill me. I could never. Oh, yes, you could.
Oh, yes, you could.
Oh, yes, you could. Yes, you could.
Thank you.
What happened to your head?
They cut inside, they did. And they cut my brain, so I'm not able
I mean, we were sitting down rehearsing, particularly with Dickens, because he's got so much dialogue. And just the slightest shift in it, you think, okay, well, the scene's now taking a different shape.
The thing is you gotta hold my hand, okay?
I mean, he's reading the other day of the moment when he says, take my hand, hold tight. And it was the face he was pulling when he was doing it, and it looked dangerous.
I'm drowning! I am! Save me!
Have your hands up in the air like you're drowning. Oh, and go sink, and then blah, 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 you're gone.
I'm drowning! I am! Save me! Save me!
I need to go get Lisa!
Lisa!
And suddenly you realize, little girl, dangerous situation, possible lunatic, you don't know which way it's going to go. Okay, let's play a bit more with that. Don't frighten him. That's why getting down low is, you know, because if you're tall, you're like Dell, towering over him. So you've got to be down there so you don't threaten him. He's a strange animal. I mean, what we do in films, I mean, and certainly in my stuff, we're not realistic. We're not even naturalistic. It's an artifice. I actually like sort of announcing that at the start. Artifice. It may be truthful. It may be insightful. It may be all sorts of things. But it's not trying to be a false reality. I mean, too many films sort of play on being naturalistic, and they think, oh, that's real. It's not. It's just the same thing. It's another form of artifice. And so I kind of like stating from the outset, no, I'm a puppet show here. I actually barely distinguish between fantasy and reality. That's one of my problems. And action, gals. You gotta eat some more food. You've thrown all your food away, Jodelle. Where's your food? Well, we don't know what to do. We might do something.
Oh, the sting.
Did you get some lemon standing by?
Take her back to the trailer and make sure that we get lemon over there.
I know what you're doing.
I didn't see that.
What did it find?
I just got a bite right on the lip, big one. It just swells up like whoosh. So Jodelle got bit by something. And no see him, we've decided, is what it is, because nobody saw him. And she got bit on the lip and on the nose, and her lip is now swollen up. She looks like Daffy Duck. So we aren't able to shoot with her today. So we're pissing around in this vast landscape, shooting little close-ups of dolls' heads. The magic of it. But she's wonderful. She's great. It's just a great face. And what she's doing is all the time is fascinating. She doesn't look like Jodelle. It looks like Jeliza Rose. I mean, the only time she looks a little bit like Jodelle is when we're off to the party, and she puts on another sort of face. But it still is fine. It's a great face. She seems much older than a 9-year-old. There's something weird about her. Very strange child. Brilliant.
My teacher's going to make me write a book report on Tideland.
Here it is.
Excellent. What do you think you might say?
Excellent.
Yeah, what kind of book report? What do you think you'd say about it? An excellent bit of writing. The spelling was correct. Most of the punctuation was proper. That sort of thing. Did you say it's a page turner? I couldn't put it down. It was a page turner. It was dull. It was no. It was repetitive. It was derivative. Do you know what derivative means?
No.
Why not? Get out of my face. I don't,
Haven't told them yet.
what is a derivative? Is the kind of things that what's his name? Roland Emmerich is derivative.
Who's that?
He's the guy that made Day After Tomorrow and Godzilla, because all of his shots derive from Steven Spielberg's shots. They're all identical almost. So he's derivative. He doesn't make original films. He makes films that are like somebody else's thing. So if you're derivative, you're acting. It's like you acting like Nick Nolte.
Oh.
If you learned your acting skills and copied Nick Nolte, you'd be derivative. But in fact, you're original. It's the opposite of original almost.
Oh.
I stick a camera on his head.
Strap-on humiliation.
What is this?
It's for the documentary. The director's eye view of see what the director sees.
Tideland ends, a massive train wreck into which Jeliza Rose goes searching for her true love, Dickens. Gilliam sets up the final image of the movie, a close-up of Jeliza Rose watching fireflies dancing in the night air. This is one of the few shots to be photographed with a long lens, and focus is critical.
Focus on the wrong eye.
It's on the back eye. Cut! I can see you're getting a bit tired, you both are. Painful.
What?
Exactly. That's what you need. Because your eyes this time weren't doing what they did before. They weren't dancing. The things a person can do with his nose.
Weird.
Okay. One last wonderful one.
That's the camera. Yeah.
You look like you're enjoying yourself, finally, in this film. One moment of glory.
And go.
That's great. Anytime, sir.
And action. The whole line of them there. Kill them all.
Dad! Dad! No mercy! Dad! Dad! Dad!
All right, now start spitting. Mad, yeah. Now Mystique speaks.
Get dizzy and fast! No, you won't. You can't. Your mouth doesn't work.
Trick is to get right close to the door for your spin. Last spin and fall.
A camera.
Her eyes light up. They sparkle.
You've done this before. I'm glad EPK wasn't here yesterday.
Spring.
Disconnected the mic and plugged back in.
Okay, I did it. It's okay.
Take him up. Take him up.
Hey, the bastards killed Kenny.
Carrie.
What are you doing in there? There's a man with a camera.
Onlookers down below.
Camera.